My name is Kirt Smith. I completed my Master's of Global Policy Studies at the LBJ School of Public Affairs at UT, and I graduated in August of 2017. I currently work as an analyst for the Congressional Research Service at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., where I provide nonpartisan and authoritative research and analysis on Indo-Pacific foreign affairs, U.S. diplomatic efforts in that region, as well as helping direct congressional interest and legislative priorities in regards to Asia as a whole. The most interesting project that I've been involved on is doing analysis on the 70-year long running war in Burma, or as many people know it as Myanmar, as it's called today. And it's an original CRS product, and it dives in depth into a lot of the internal conflict that's been going on over the last 7 decades, and it talks about the key stakeholders and actors, as well as spells out implications for US Congress and also the outlook for US policy moving forward based off of what has happened in the past. Some of the best skills that translated into this project are my ability to pull from different sources to be nonpartisan and authoritative. When I was at the LBJ school, from day one, you walk in and there's a whole screen of TVs with different news channels running from the most right to the most left, and you're just constantly exposed to that. And whether you agree with one side or the other, it really does help train you in being open and receptive and curious about seeking out what discussions are on all sides of the spectrum, and so all across the spectrum. And so when I started this role where I have to work for both Republicans and Democrats in Congress, I need to make sure that what information I provide them is nonpartisan as well as authoritative. And so it's that mentality coming from the LBJ school, that policy mindset of looking at all sorts of information and being curious about looking at all sorts of information, and the importance of seeing what both sides have to say and being able to parse the most accurate assessment from what is out there is probably the most valuable skill that I brought into this current project. However, I am doing a lot of original innovative work with geospatial analytics, so I am using my Burmese language ability to go into Burmese news sources, also tracking strategic developments on Twitter through these different organizations, and I'm able to build a much more comprehensive picture of what's going on the ground, and also collect a lot of data that's not easily accessible in English. And then I'm also able to use some of that information to create very engaging and informative maps. And everyone likes pictures when you read. You don't like a book with just text, you like pictures as well. And so I did a lot of GIS work when I was at the LBJ school for my degree, and that has been a major asset to this project, and it's been a very highly requested skill, and a lot of my colleagues have just been completely blown away and excited with what I've been able to produce using that skill set. And so I highly encourage it for if anyone's just interested, but it also has been fun and very useful for the work, and the most important in that respect. The most important thing that I can take from that is to not give up, as cliche as that might sound, because especially as a person of color, because believe it or not, a lot of people would never expect that many people like me always feel that society doesn't think we belong around the table when policy discussions are taking place. Whenever I'm on a call, it's my field, the Asia policy field, is dominated by Caucasian men. And every once in a while you get Asian males and females, depending on who you're talking to. And especially on Zoom, whenever I turn on my video when I come into a call, you can read the room, and the reaction is generally, did this person stumble into the wrong meeting? And there is always a perception of extra scrutiny, especially I'm speaking to the Black side of the person of color aspect. And so I just have to remind myself that I'm much more able, much more skilled, and much more knowledgeable about the subject matter at hand than you perceive that I am, and to not let that insecurity get in my way, because people are expecting me to not succeed. And the more I let those insecurities eat away at me, the less likely I am going to be able to succeed. In terms of being a person in the LGBTQ aspect, it's also a field that's dominated by many heterosexual men as well. So just not being ashamed of who you are. There's a give and a take and a balance. You know, I know that there's a lot of these heterosexual men are not always as comfortable with interacting with LGBTQ plus people. And sometimes I am intimidated working with heterosexual men as well. But I have to try to meet them as far as I'm willing to go, and in turn, hopefully that they will be able to meet me halfway within reason. If they're being bigoted or racist or anything like that, then obviously that is not acceptable, and I will not engage with that person, and they can find someone else. And I'll go through whatever appropriate channels to make sure that they are aware of that mistake. But at the same time, I'm not going to scream at them demanding that they know this about me or see eye to eye with me. No, not at all. I'm just a normal person. I am Kirt Smith first, and then whatever you know about me after is whatever it is what it is. But I mean, I want people to know me as to treat me as a normal human being, and that's not, whether it's not me saying, hi, my name is Kirt, I'm gay. That's not it. It's, my name is Kirt, I'm an expert in Asia, and I can tell you all about this information that you're coming to me for, and whether, I happen to be Black, and whether or not you know I'm gay or not it's not relevant to the conversation. And hopefully they don't make it an issue and relevant to the conversation, and I won't make their sexuality an issue or relevant to the conversation. So that's my point of view, is just treat others as I want to be treated, and also interact with them in a way that I would want people to perceive me in that as a professional.